Hey everybody, this is Nathan Lyle Official, the official YouTube channel of me, Nathan Lyle, and this is Anime Corner, which is the show where after a current simulcast ends, I will review all of the shows that I watched. There are 3 other videos. One of them is Funimation simulcast, and then the other 2 are Crunchyroll simulcast, one for the ones that I would recommend, and another one for the ones that I wouldn't recommend. And this is going to be the top 3, all of my top 3 favorite simulcasts and what I enjoyed about them. So before we get into our top 3, we're actually going to show you the top 6. These were the 6 anime that I most enjoyed watching. They are Zankyou no Terror, Haikyuu, Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-Kun, Nobunaga Concerto, Aldnoah.Zero, and Locodol. We'll start with number 3. What is my number 3 favorite anime from the current simulcast? Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-Kun. Monthly Goes Nozaki-Kun. One of the things I loved about it is just that it's incredibly funny and it doesn't really ever try to take itself too seriously. There are times when you watch an anime and you think, oh, it's gonna be funny, but then it ends up just turning into just this really dark, really serious, just really like heavy, dramatical thing that you just can't stand to sit through. Alright! The Nozaki-Kun, it's a simple one that it doesn't try to be anything that it's not. You know, what you see in the first episode, that's basically every single episode, except it gets a little more pronounced as it goes on. It just gets bigger, more explosive. Fireworks! This one is much like School Rumble. You can pay attention to the storyline if you want to, but even if you don't, it's still a pretty enjoyable one. It's a bunch of kids in high school doing a bunch of things that kids in high schools do. And it's really fun. It's one of the anime that it just always made me laugh every single time. And the reason it's in the top 3 is that it, much like the other animes, I look forward to seeing them every week and I am waiting for them to come out. And the reason that Sunday has become one of my favorite days of the week is because you get new episodes of Nozaki-Kun and a new episode of number 2 on the list, Haikyuu. That's right, it made the top 3 2 weeks simulcast in a row. What's that mean? Go check the motherfucking shit out! So Haikyuu, if this is the first video of mine you've ever seen, Haikyuu is the story about a boy in middle school who loves to play volleyball, and he wants to be great at it. He idolizes this other guy who's really short called the Little Giant. But volleyball is a game where it's usually better to be tall, and so, you know, the shorter you are, the harder it is to really thrive. And so he's trying to find a place. And it's really difficult for him because, like, he goes to a school that doesn't even have a volleyball team. The entire first episode is just, you know, he's playing in his first ever volleyball game against a team that's, you know, heavy favorites to win it all. And so, and he's doing everything he can. He's carrying the entire team, running across the court, just doing his best to try to put 1 point on the board. And then he reflects back on the journey it took just to get this far. Because, you know, he spent 3 years trying to put together a volleyball team, and all the guys that are with him now are just a bunch of his friends that he scraped together so that they'd have enough people that they could be allowed to compete in this tournament. And the team that they're going against has a captain who's called the King of the Court. He's considered one of the greatest, and they quickly become enemies and rivals on the court. So the little guy swears to the king that he's going to beat him someday, only to find out that once they start high school, they're on the same team. And so hilarity ensues. It's an exciting story about a bunch of first, second, and third years on a volleyball team. You get a good mix of everybody who has a bunch of different personalities, and they're all just trying to make it work. They don't even have a head coach yet, and so they're just, you know, they're trying to come together as a team and learn to win games, and then they end up entering the tournament and having to fight for their lives in like an official tournament and stuff. And it's great. This is specifically about character growth. This is a character growth anime along the lines of, as I've said before in my other reviews of this show, it reminds me of an anime like Whistle. If you haven't seen that one, it's a great soccer anime. So this one I'll put in categories with shows like Whistle, Hikaru no Go, maybe even Beck, even though that one's about music and not a sport. But it's still the same principle, you know. The reason I'm able to sit through it is because I become invested in the characters and seeing them grow. It also happens to be funny in addition to that, and you know, they animated it in such a way that I actually get excited watching these games, even though I don't give a damn about volleyball. It's mostly that I give a damn about these characters, and I'm excited to see what happens next because I want them to succeed. So now we've got 4 left. Which one is my favorite? We have Zankyou no Terror and Nobunaga Concerto. Neither of those is number one, mostly because like Nobunaga, it started off so slow, and then it took me a while to get into it. It only ended up, this was originally a top 5 list, but then I saw the final episode of Nobunaga Concerto, and I decided, fuck it, we'll put this in here too, just so I have another chance to mention it and talk about it. It ended so spectacularly, and on the other hand, Zankyou no Terror, it started off so well, but by the end of it, I was becoming less interested, which means that my favorite show from the current simulcast was either Aldnoah.Zero or Locodol. And the answer is obviously Locodol, of course. Psych! That's the wrong number. Oh! So yeah, my favorite show from this current simulcast was Aldnoah.Zero, and it didn't start off that way. It gradually grew on me as it progressed. It's a story about basically people from Earth went into space, and they end up establishing a colony on Mars, and hundreds of years pass, and the people on Mars now hate and despise the people on Earth for whatever reason. I still don't fully understand that part of it. But anyways, blah blah blah, shit happens, and a war breaks out between Earth and Mars. It's a little like Gundam Wing, with the fighting between the Earth and the colonies. Except in this case, the Earth seems apparently completely and fully unprepared for this war. Or it could be more of the fact that Mars has been planning to invade for so long, and they just needed an excuse, so they created one. There's a quick spoiler alert here, so if you haven't seen this yet, please click off of it. Or don't, because really it's not much of a spoiler. I was able to guess this as I watched it, because it seems like Mars was planning to invade. The Knights wanted to attack Earth. That was always part of their ultimate goal. They wanted to attack and control Earth and destroy all the Terrans. And so they sent the princess to Earth specifically so that they would be able to kill her. That way they would have an excuse to invade. And it ends up being a great story, especially, oh my god, the ending to episode 12. Everybody getting shot. It kind of reminded me of that one SNL skit with Sandberg and what's his name from Transformers. Where they're like, ooh, what you say? Oh, now I only went, ooh, what you say? Ooh, now I only went, ooh, what you, ooh, what you, ooh, what you, ooh, what you say? Ooh, now I only went, tell me now, ooh, what you say? What did she say? Story short, a lot of shots fired, a lot of people died, and I was just like, damn! It didn't start this way, but Aldnoah.Zero has easily become one of my all-time favorite mecha animes. I'd say second only to Gundam Wing, but we'll see. It could easily surpass it. Let's give it some time. And it's already passed up Buddy Complex, NGE, and Eureka 7. Let's see how this shit ends. It might end up rising one more spot to that number one, or it might end up falling down a little bit. Either way, though, I'll say this as many times as it takes to get you to watch it. If you only have time or desire to watch one anime, watch Aldnoah.Zero. It's not the easiest one to sit through, and I can't necessarily say that you'll enjoy it, but it is the best anime from the current simulcast. So as of right now, it is 4:49 on Friday, September 26th. That is when I finished recording this. I'm just curious. I'm just saying that because I have no idea when I'm actually going to edit and upload these. Hopefully, but sometime this weekend. But I don't know. I've got papers to write and test studies for. I barely recorded this thing. So yeah, if you liked this, like and subscribe. Blah 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 blah.